Somewhere out there, your birthday could arrive before your very first day even ends. That planet is Venus. And it is not exaggeration. Venus breaks the basic rule almost every planet in the solar system follows. A single day there lasts longer than an entire year. Let that sit for a second, because the math behind it is almost too strange to believe. Venus takes about 243 Earth days to spin once fully on its axis. That is an incredibly slow spin, slower than almost every other planet out there. For comparison, Earth needs just 1 day to rotate once, and about 365 days to orbit the Sunday. Venus flips that relationship completely inside out. It only needs about 225 Earth days to complete one full trip around the Sunday. Read those two numbers again. 225 days to orbit the Sunday, 243 days just to rotate once on its own axis. The orbit finishes first. The spin has not even caught up yet. That means if you somehow lived on Venus, you would finish an entire year before the planet finished turning once. Your birthday would show up before your first sunrise to sunrise cycle was even over. There is no version of a normal calendar that survives contact with that fact. And the weirdness does not stop with the numbers. Venus also spins backwards compared to almost every other planet in the solar system. Astronomers call this retrograde rotation. Most planets spin one consistent direction, following roughly the same pattern the whole solar system formed in. Venus spins the opposite way entirely, as if something reached in and physically flipped it around at some point in its history. One strange side effect of that backward spin is the direction of sunrise itself. On most planets, the sun rises in the east. Because Venus rotates the wrong way, the sun there would technically rise in the west and set in the east instead, if you could even see it through the clouds. But here is where the story pivots into something even stranger. So what could cause an entire planet to spin backwards, and impossibly slowly, at the same time? Scientists think a massive ancient collision may have knocked Venus into this strange rotation early on. Others think powerful atmospheric tides, dragging at the planet steadily over billions of years, gradually slowed the spin down and eventually reversed it. The exact cause is still debated among researchers today, and nobody has landed on one final answer. Even with modern telescopes and probes, this remains one of the more stubborn mysteries in planetary science. Venus is not just running on a broken calendar, it is also one of the least hospitable places in the entire solar system. The atmosphere is a crushing wall of carbon dioxide, dense enough to crush spacecraft that are not built to withstand it. Thick clouds made of sulfuric acid drift endlessly through that atmosphere, day after impossibly long day, hiding the surface from ordinary telescopes entirely. Surface temperatures are hot enough to melt lead outright, hot enough to soften and warp metals almost instantly on contact. Every probe ever sent to land there has survived only a matter of hours before the heat and pressure destroyed it. So even setting aside the impossible day-year math, Venus is nowhere you would ever want to watch a sunrise, let alone stand around waiting for one to finally arrive. Honestly, it feels less like a planet and more like the universe running some bizarre experiment right next door, just to see what happens when nearly every basic rule of planetary motion breaks down at once. Think about that for a second. A whole world spinning the wrong direction, wrapped in acid clouds, hot enough to melt metal, where the day itself quietly outlasts the year. No sunrise worth chasing, no calendar that makes intuitive sense, just a slow, backward spin, stretched out over hundreds of Earth days. Somewhere out there is a planet where your birthday could arrive before your very first full day was even finished. Follow for more random things you may not know.